Good morning. Welcome to morning practice. I'm Olivia. Delighted to have you here practicing with me today on Wednesday, the 7th of February, 2024. Um, the sky this morning is looming with some rain clouds in a beautiful way. I think we're going to have a little bit more rain starting shortly. And feeling extraordinary today. Feeling like there is some interesting energy coming onto the earth and excited to see how this year is going to develop with that. And so, again, I would say this morning practice is really an offering for you to cultivate your own morning practice. It doesn't really go in a sequential order from when I began to this point. They're sort of designed that you could do any practice any day. So you feel free to choose from the videos. They're really not aligned to the specific day. It's just a way of me being able to organize them. That's why I title them by their date. But they really allow you to just drop in at any point, and the practice should be accessible at any point. We've been talking this week a lot about finding the pleasure and ease and expansion in the practice of yoga and the poses of yoga, specifically the asana limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. And if you want to know what the 8 limbs of yoga are, dig around in December. But why do we talk about finding more pleasure and ease in the pose? Because surely that's contradictory to what we think of when we think of a rigorous and difficult practice. And I think it's really important to really attune to the vibration and frequency that you're holding in your body when you're doing anything, including the way that you're communicating with yourself. And if you are in any practice, in any sort of form, whether it's work, play, or life, interacting, and you're in a mindset of achievement and attainment, it sort of necessitates a sort of conflict energy, not conflict so much, but a needing to assert one's dominance or one's authority. Well, yeah, that's fair. Sovereign authority. And if we enter into all of those states of being, work, play, interaction, conversation, in a state of pleasure and ease, we don't think about attaining that. You can embody your sovereign authority and take pleasure in it, but it's not a struggle. It is not a question of measuring myself by how successful I am in the endeavor, by whether I win or lose or have the dominant position at the end of it. I know that's what, you could argue culturally that is the imprint that we're living in. And I think one reason that 2024 is special is because we are being given the opportunity to kind of overthrow some of those ideas of having to assert one's dominance in order to be successful, having to measure oneself by external factors like wealth, visibility, the sort of things that we measure success by. Whereas if we're not even measuring success, if we're merely experiencing pleasure in our bodies and ourselves and whatever we're doing, it denullifies denullifies the situation, because you're simply not in the state of mind or frequency where you're looking to attain, but you're looking to expand. So it's great to investigate that in the asana practice of yoga, the movement practice of yoga. Always good to remember that the word asana itself means taking a seat, and that is the movement practice of yoga. So oftentimes finding a quiet seat is a wonderful movement practice. And I think, we have such an idea of what yoga is or has become, and it's become many things, let's be honest. All the way from sort of hyper hyper power, what do they call it, boot camp. I mean, really, but yes, hyper power yoga boot camp. So, vinyasa. I mean, we've all heard of the different kinds of yoga that's out there. So the reason I'm talking about all of this is because it's so important to find the practice that is authentic to you. And yes, yoga is a series of certain poses and postures that we have names for, but a lot of that actually was developed relatively recently. And more of the ancient practices are the more still seated practices. And really, what the process of a movement practice is should be, or should, the ability to really listen to how you are having a relationship with yourself. Are you allowing yourself to expand? Are you allowing yourself to experience pleasure? And thereby, what are you creating in the world? What are you creating in your internal world? Are you creating an internal world of pleasure and expansion and curiosity, listening, discovery? Or are you creating an internal world of struggle that unless I look like that, or unless I have this absolutely correct, then we start to talk to ourselves in a different voice. And it's good to feel the robustness and energy and strengthening of a challenging practice. That's excellent, especially when we can experience real pleasure in that. But if you're using those challenging and rigorous practices to be hard on yourself, it's an opportunity to change the thinking. It's an opportunity to change that experience to something that's going to serve you and create a reality around you of more harmony, of more inner harmony. And that will, in turn, allow you to have a greater outer harmony with the world around you. I mean, and the movement practice is just one aspect of yoga that you can examine that in. And yoga, you can call it yoga, or you can just simply call it being. If you do any sort of movement, cycling, swimming, running, working out at the gym, you are in a state of relationship to what is happening in your body in a fairly regular way. And that will allow you to examine not only what you're experiencing and what are your goals and what is the voice that you're talking to yourself with at the gym, but also, like, what reality are you creating for yourself thereby? Is it any wonder that people don't stick with it if you're using kind of a voice internally that's kind of judgmental and harsh on yourself, rather than allowing yourself to experience the expansion and pleasure and discovery of learning and growing and feeling what's true for your body, and then being able to possess that movement in an authoritative way because it is yours, and then cultivating that sense of inner harmony that you then can share with the world. So that was sort of a long-winded explanation of why I'm emphasizing pleasure this week. But let's drop into a meditation. So if you need to recross your legs, which I do, um, to find your seat, sit up on something that allows the spine to be tall, that allows you to drop in, feeling pleasure in the lengthening of your spine. Give yourself this opportunity right now to find a seat that you can find a few degrees more of pleasure in. Is that adjusting the length of the back of the neck? Is that allowing the tilt of the bowl of the pelvis to adjust in some way? Is it finding a seat in a chair is more comfortable than sitting up on a bolster or a block? Find the seat that gives you a feeling of expansion and ease at the same time. Maybe just very peaceable amount of pleasure. And keeping the eyes closed, letting the gaze come inward, letting the focus come inward. And just noticing. The mind and thought structures, thought patterns can be very persuasive and very, they have the power to sort of hijack our experience. And if you can genuinely recognize the thoughts as they're coming in and say, look, your thoughts, some of you aren't even my thoughts. And I'm going to not engage with these thoughts because these thoughts are not useful to me, especially in this moment. I am turning inward. What is useful is internal observation, bringing a sense of quiet. And that energy ball of the thinking and the mind and the thoughts just recedes quietly so that your internal gaze, your internal awareness, your internal focus is shifted into this moment where you are present and still. And as your gaze, awareness, focus arrives, you may notice there's another adjustment that you need to make in your seat to find a truer, more authentic seated posture for yourself. But just take a moment to let your awareness permeate your being, finding the posture of ease and expansion for you. And as you settle into that posture of ease and expansion, breathing normally, feeling the breath move in and out of the body, in and out of your being, as if in each exhale almost exuded from beyond the perimeter of our skin into the auric field. And as you exhale, all that energy comes back into the center. Inhaling, expanding into your auric field, expanding beyond the perimeters of the skin. And exhaling, bringing that energy all back into your core. And as you feel these inhales and exhales expanding beyond the body into the auric field, and then as you release and contract, bringing that energy back into the center, you might focus the direction of the breath as you inhale, coming in through the heart center, out beyond the auric field, and then exhaling, bringing that energy back in, back up, back through the heart center. So continue to take the heart breaths, feeling the inhale expand you, and exhale, bringing the energy back in. Breathing in and out through the heart. You may want to bring your hands to your heart center, prayer position, Anjali Mudra. Leave your palms in your lap and just hold the heart. Holding the heart. As you inhale, feeling the expansion into the auric field, and exhale, bringing that energy in. You may, in the breathing process, begin to feel that light in your heart really begin to burn brighter, as if the awareness of this energetic breath was somehow illuminating the center of your heart. And that heart light grows and grows, and becomes brighter, filling your whole being, filling and spilling beyond your whole being. That immense luminosity unique to your incredible heart, pouring forth from you. And we'll continue to meditate in silence, breathing in and out through the heart, feeling your heart light, feeling your energetic expansion. If you would like to make an offering or dedication to someone or a situation, a place in the world, do it now. Find that image and offer with reverence your sacred gift. Taking a deeper breath in and a deeper breath out. And again, a deeper breath in and a sigh, out. Allowing the chin to just drop to the sternum. We'll inhale together to Om, inhaling, Om. Allowing the fingers to drop to the lap. We're going to head over to the mat. You may want some blocks for practice. You may want to take a sip of water. This is a great moment to do that. And we'll meet on the mat. And I think we'll stretch our legs out because we've been sitting a little bit longer than I anticipated. One of my legs has fallen asleep, so it's possible that that might have happened to you also. So let's remedy that right away. And I think the best way sometimes to remedy when our legs fall asleep is actually to really just let the blood flow. So we're going to start standing here. And we will come to our gratitude practice, but at the moment we're going to just really allow the blood flow all the way down to the feet. And you're just going to bend into one knee and then straighten it, bending into the other knee, hoping that the leg that fell asleep will be able to support the body. And just maybe letting yourself just swing right and left, and maybe letting your hands swing with your body, almost so that your hands just lightly tap as you get from side to side. You may want to bring your feet to about hip distance while you're doing this. Just allowing yourself to breathe normally as you feel the movement wake up, bringing the blood back to anywhere it might need to come back to. And you might even start to bring your hands up so that the front hand is touching the shoulder, the back hand can. And it's just it's a way of giving contact to the body. Letting the hands have a journey. And are you having fun? Are you experiencing pleasure? Is this a simple childlike movement that is just waking you up? And then you could roll your hips to the right. Just really feeling that lovely fluidity, rolling the hips to the left. I realize I'm not giving my correct mirror instructions, but that's okay. You can just follow along. When I first considered doing a yoga teacher training, one of the things that I was nervous about was, we'll come to a seat on the mat, the fact that I've always had slight dyslexia with my right and left, especially verbally. Like if I'm giving verbal instructions, verbal cues, I'm going to just have my feet in a straddle. Find a position that you feel like you're getting a good leg stretch. That might just even be out front, parallel, or out to the side. Choose the position that's right for you and just explore some movement there so that you feel like you're allowing the blood to flow into the legs. And maybe even wiggling the feet a little bit, animating the feet. That's going to bring some blood flow to maybe just allowing the torso to move, just allowing yourself to find movement. Even in your shoulders, you could roll one shoulder back, the other shoulder back, one shoulder back. Just allowing your body to move. And then shoulder forward, shoulder forward. Oh, that actually feels really good. There is a reason I love dancing. And it's usually because it feels so amazing. And movement can be such a vehicle for pleasure. All right, now I'm very called to lean to one side. So we'll take our left hand to our left shin, reaching the right arm up. And just at first, let's just reach it kind of vertically. And then we'll lean to the left. But as I was saying, come back up to center, Let the right hand fall to the right shin. Bring the left arm up, just vertically at first. Really feeling that extension, almost like you're reaching just a little bit more, and then bringing the hand towards the right. So I've always had difficulty with the right and the left as a form of dyslexia. But curiously, it wasn't as big as a problem as I thought. Isn't that interesting? It's always never as big as a problem as we think, right? Let's bring our knees into a cross leg. And we'll sit up on a brick. What's tricky though is when we teach on Zoom, or not teach, practice, we're practicing together. I know that what I'm showing you is the opposite of what I'm experiencing, and having to keep the language consistent depending on whether I'm facing you or facing the top of the mat. It's always one of those aspects of teaching that you're like not teaching, but you know. I thank you for your patience with me. Let's inhale our arms overhead, hands come to prayer, prayer comes to heart. Just so much gratitude and appreciation for this body, this vehicle, this vessel, this instrument of consciousness that gets to experience pleasure in the body, pleasure in being embodied, pleasure in the feeling of the elements outside, pleasure in sun on your skin, pleasure just to be physically alive. It's kind of magnificent. It is magnificent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And inhaling our arms overhead, hands to prayer, prayer to heart. Just really love and gratitude for all beings, all people, all teachers, all other humans, every sentient life on the planet. We are all part of each other. We are all interconnected. May all beings be happy and free and well. May, if I am happy, may every single other person on this planet experience the same joy and wonder I do. And I'm just so grateful for you all, truly. Inhaling, arms overhead, hands come to prayer, prayer comes to heart. Just expressing so much love and gratitude for this incredible planet that feeds and sustains us and grows and gives us so much. It's a very beautiful and magnificent instrument of consciousness itself. Every blade of grass, every petal on every flower. It's extraordinary to be here, and this is a beautiful, beautiful place that we love deeply and are reverent of, and we will protect her and care for her. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll just find ourselves at a seat. Hands will come overhead. We'll just take a nice simple twist to the left. The left hand at the base of the spine, finger pads pushing in, giving extra length along the spine because it feels pleasurable to find more extension in the spine. There's more ease, there's more space. And then inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, your left hand will come to your right knee. Your right hand is at the base of the spine. Again, just a little bit of pressure into that hand to lift the spine, finding slightly more extension, slightly more length. And again, more expansion, more ease, more space, more pleasure. Allowing the chin to drop if that feels good. And we'll turn to center and we'll just let the right ear drop to the right, or the left ear drop to the left shoulder. We're just allowing a very gentle stretch along the right side of the neck. You may explore that by dipping your chin a little bit and pulling the chin up. Just explore what needs stretching. And then coming to center, letting the head drop to the right, right ear to right shoulder. Just allowing yourself to just feel the stretch along the left side of the neck here. And then maybe exploring dipping the chin, raising the chin. What feels right to you? And you can roll your head, dipping your chin to the middle. And then we'll come off our seat and we will come to all fours. You can just keep your blocks handy at the top of your mat. And just pressing up between the shoulder blades, finding your cat pose, letting the tail lift, the heart lift, cow pose. And then we'll reach the left leg back, just roll on the ball of the foot here. And then spin the foot to one side. You may use your right shin to kick out like a kickstand. And then just reaching the arm. Let's at first, again, just reach vertically, really feel that length. Pressing into your left foot. Reaching. And then allowing yourself to come down. We'll take another cat, cow, and then spinning the right foot down, reaching the arm up into the air. And then reaching the arm overhead, really pressing the edge of that right foot into the mat and feeling the length along the side body. And that will come down again to a cat and a cow. And again, exhaling, inhaling, and then just sit back on your heels for a moment. I'm going to remove my socks. And as you sit back on your heels for a moment, just let your fingers come to either side of the hips, letting the hands, the finger pads just lightly press into the mat or the floor beside you. And then just as you press in, feeling that heart lift, the extension, letting the gaze roll up. And then come down, allow yourself to curl in. And then pressing into the finger pads, really feeling the extension of the spine grow. So look up and then curling in. We'll come back to all fours, extending that left leg again. This time we'll just lift the left leg parallel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to act as if we were like drawing something up with our left hand so that you're balancing here. this is too difficult, just if it's not possible, just let yourself balance with your left leg extended. And then allowing yourself to come back to the mat. Taking a cat, taking a cow, extending that right leg. And then use your left foot as a kickstand. And again, using the right hand almost to draw something up as you lift the right leg and lift the right arm. My balance is a little wobbly too. It's good to wobble. It's your body learning how to find its position in space. Let that foot drop. Let the hand drop. Press back onto your toes, just kind of curling in here. And then as you come forward, keep the toes curls and just lift the knees an inch and just feel that stretch on the toes. Feel the strength. And then pressing back into your downward facing dog, just pedaling it out here. And then gently walking to the top of the mat. Allowing yourself to fold over your legs, keep a good bend in the knees. Really feeling the drape of the torso onto the legs. Feeling the length of the back of the neck. You can shake or nod the head. Wiggle the hips. And then curling up to stand. And we'll step out to a 5-pointed star. We're bending into our legs and into our arms and into our goddess pose. And we'll just lift the heart center here. Reaching into each limb, we'll come into warrior two. Our left leg is bent. Our right leg is straight. The gaze can go out over the left hand. And just allow yourself to really feel the strength of your leg. You're going to inhale and reach that left hand up and back into a reverse warrior. Excuse me. And then bring that left hand down either on the inside of the left foot on a block or on the outside as well, or your elbow can come to your thigh, and just finding your side angle pose here. Really, again, allowing yourself to feel the length in this more upright position from the edge of your right foot to your right fingertips. And then we'll allow that hand to drop. We're going to spin up on the back ball of the foot and straighten that front leg. Allowing yourself, this is just a modified pyramid, just allowing yourself a stretch over that front leg. Bending into the knee, into a runner's lunge, spinning the ball of the foot down. Back to warrior two. We'll reset in goddess pose. Bending into our knees and lifting the heart. And then extending 5-pointed star. We'll turn the right foot out to be perpendicular with the right side of the mat. Left foot is parallel with the back. And coming into your warrior two, bending in that knee, letting the gaze fall to the right. You can imagine my hands on your ribs just turning you towards the long side of the mat. The only thing facing over to the right is your gaze. Feeling that pose, feeling how do you experience this? How do you experience your warrior two in a way of pleasure and expansion? And then we'll reach forward, lifting into your reverse warrior. You may find some real pleasure here along the right side body as it extends and reaches. You may find pleasure and ease in the transition as you reach that right arm forward, finding the floor, the block, your thigh with your elbow, and reaching that left arm overhead. How that extension and opening along the left side of the body feels like it's giving you more space, more opportunity, more exploration. And then we'll bring that arm down, spinning up on the ball of the back foot, framing that front foot, and letting the front leg straighten. Modified pyramid, just allowing yourself to fold over that front leg for a gentle stretch. Adjusting the hips, really bringing the hips underneath you. And then bending into that front leg, letting the back heel spin down, coming back to your warrior two, and then back to your 5-pointed star, and we'll move into goddess. We'll take that sequence again to each side and go into half moon if you like. You may want to have a block at either side of the mat. So let's take goddess, bending into both heels, feet, and knees, bending into both knees. I'm going to get the anatomy right. And lifting the chest. And stretching into your 5-pointed star. We'll come into warrior two. Come into reverse warrior, inhaling. Exhaling, let's come all the way down to your side angle pose. And then you can either stay here in side angle or bring the right hand to the right hip. Left hand will come to that block. It'll come just in front of the mat, in front of your foot. And then you press into the block and your foot as the right leg reaches. And then you can lift the right arm. You can turn your gaze up. I'm so close to the wall. It's really funny. But yeah, just find some length and balance in your pose here. If you want to take the back foot or your Chapasana, this can be a great moment to do that. We'll release that. Let the foot come down gently, softly into your warrior two, straightening the front leg, and we'll bend into goddess pose, straightening all of our limbs again, 5-pointed star, warrior two, reverse warrior, and then coming down to the side angle pose, feeling that for a moment, or coming to your half moon. I'm just adjusting for the proportion of the room and the table. So coming to your side angle pose. And then from side angle, if you want to come into half moon, placing the left hand, the right hand on the block, pressing into that right leg, lifting the left leg. So it's perfect. So it's parallel with the floor. Your legs are at a 90-degree. Lifting the left arm, really activating both legs will give you a lot of strength in this pose. As if you were like beaming energy out of your feet, beaming energy out of the hands, beaming energy out of the top of the head. And again, you wanted to take the foot, Chapasana, feeling a little bit of a back bend here. And then release that. Gently come back to your warrior two. Gently come straighten those legs. 5-pointed star. Let's bend into our knees for goddess. Lifting the heart center. And then straightening our legs. Our legs will come to parallel. And then just feel your hands on your hips. Maybe just roll the hips again as your hands just hold the hips, rolling the hips to the right, rolling the hips to the left. Again, keeping some fluidity, some mobility in those hip joints. Just done a lot of strength work. And then keeping the hands on the hips, letting the gaze and heart center reach forward and up as you begin to bend right at the hip flexors, keeping the back of the neck really nice and long and lengthened, and really feeling yourself come out over your legs here. And then you're just going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders. It can be nice to have blocks here if that feels more supported. If you feel like you're going to have more ease, more extension, and more space with blocks, it can feel really good to use that support. And just really feeling the length of the back of the neck, the length of the back of the legs, allowing, as you press into your hands, really pointing those sit bones up. You can really feel the bowl of the pelvis kind of turning almost upside down, if that makes sense. But you're really feeling your hip, your sit bones really just pressing up and giving extension along the back of the legs. And then if you want to slowly come into your fold, really maintaining that length, maintaining the feeling of the sit bones really pressing up towards the ceiling, allowing yourself to be here, to forward fold, finding the ease, finding the pleasure, finding the release. And then you're going to press into your hands. Just find a parallel spine again. Let the hands come to the hips and come to stand. And we'll bring our heels in, our toes, our heels, our toes, our heels, our toes. And then we'll come into a nice Malasana yoga squat. You can sit on a block here. You can sit on the floor, whatever's comfortable for you. And just find your yoga squat, letting the tailbone really drop down as if there was like a little fishing weight attached to the tip of the tailbone, and it was that lead weight just pulling that tailbone down. And as you feel that downward motion, feel sort of like an extension from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head, almost like that pulling weight allows the spine to extend up. You might even feel like an increase in length along the back of your spine, and that can feel really nice, very pleasurable. And if you're in this and you're not experiencing pleasure at all, find a way that does give you pleasure. Sit in a comfortable seat that does feel good and allows your spine to lengthen and allows you to access your own sense of ease and expansion. And then we're going to slowly let our hands come down, and we'll just come down onto our bum. Let's have our feet in, the legs will sort of be in a butterfly position in front of us. Feet meet and come together, and you just hold your feet with your hands, and your toes might be a little cold, so you might want to squeeze your toes if they're cold. Squeeze the toes. And then let's lift the spine, and come into a forward fold in our Baddha Konasana. It can feel good if your knees are really far from the mat. You might want to put a block under each knee like that. That can feel like really great support. If you want to just let yourself fold forward, it's nice to just feel the weight of the elbows on the legs, and as you come forward, they sort of push in, not aggressively, not with lots of force, just as a gentle consequence of the forward movement. And just allowing the back of the neck to curl. We're not going for the super straight spine here, just allowing the natural curvature of the spine in this position. As if you were really stretching that thoracic spine, the mid-spine between your shoulder blades, the area we're really accessing in this fold. But that stretch, including the cervical spine itself, as you feel the back of the neck perhaps curl even more. And then we'll press back up to our seat and trying to think. Let's spin around onto our back. And let's just bring the knees in for a moment and roll that sacral area, so the lumbar spine, and roll in each direction. Just find some movement around the sacrum that gives you a sense of openness and fluidity. And then we'll place each foot on the floor about hip distance, bringing the feet close to the hips, though you don't have to be able to touch them, just close in to the hips. And we'll press up into a bridge pose, stretching the front of the body, stretching the hip flexors, really feeling the strength as we go up the vertebrae to the shoulder girdle, allowing the body to really feel it being supported by the girdle of the shoulders, but also pressing into the feet, lifting into the hips. Maybe I just want to put your hands out to the side as I'm doing, just kind of a relaxed bridge pose. And pushing up. And then we will bring the hips down to the ground again. And just here, we're going to take a Baddha Konasana again, and you're just going to recline on your back. One hand can be on the belly, one hand can be on the heart. And allow yourself, as you're taking this, to just check in with your heart. Can you feel it pumping beneath your hand? Does it feel more engaged, more active since we began? You can call to mind your dedication, your offering that you made in meditation earlier. And then we'll bring our feet back up. We're going to press into our feet and bring the hips to the right. We'll take the right leg and cross it over the left leg. You can even do an eagle cross if you like, but just a simple cross is fine. I'm going to eagle cross my legs, and then I'm just letting the knees fall to the left while I reach my arms out to the right, letting the gaze go over the right hand. You may place your left hand at your hip and just explore how placing pressure in different parts of this hip region can assist the pose, assist the stretch. Not so much to increase in flexibility, but for the more internal joints. Almost massaging that right hip in the rear as you are in this reclined twist. And then we'll bring our feet up, uncross the legs, placing the feet on the floor. The left leg, all right, let's press into the floor and bring the hips to the left, taking the left leg over the right. You can eagle your legs or just keep them in a simple cross, letting the legs fall to the right. Left arm extends and just gazing out over that left arm. Again, using the hand to massage that left hip from behind. Exploring how that can feel good, how it can assist the stretch. And as you're ready, you will bring your feet back up to parallel and let one leg fall out and the other leg fall out. Hands come by the side and just come into your final resting posture, Shavasana. Resting here, letting every engagement of every muscle relax and release. Finding gentle movement in the tips of your fingers, feeling the movement of air across the skin, slowly awakening to movement in the body as you make your way to fetal position on one side, resting, checking in with the heart, checking in, and then pushing yourself up to a seat with the eyes closed. Noticing how the body feels, noticing the quiet of the internal state. You may reconnect to your heart center if called. Once again, bringing into mind your dedication, your offering. And as we sit here holding our hearts, offering our love, I invite you to offer some of that love to yourself in appreciation for treating yourself well by taking time to connect with yourself and your heart. And thank yourself. We'll take one Om to close. Breathing in. Om. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. I am so very grateful. I want to share a couple of notes that are so on Friday this week, the 9th, it's the new moon, which would be our 3-month lunar anniversary of morning practice. And although this journey hasn't been exactly how I've envisioned it, it's been such a joy. And I absolutely love doing this. And I really look forward to seeing where this journey will lead. I will be taking some time off after the end of next week, and it'll be clear from the website and the calendar. But I am looking forward to bringing it back in March in a new incarnation. And so, yes, but I just can't say enough how much joy it brings me to offer this practice and to explore these things with you, which I'm really exploring for myself as much as I'm sharing. And tomorrow, being the 8th, being the day before the moon, I will structure the practice around a new moon intention for us all. So if you will care to join me for that, that would be amazing. But just so much appreciation for each and every one of you. Thank you for walking this path with me together and being my teachers. So much love. Okay, everybody, have a beautiful day. Take good care.